everyone, it's Gina from Gina K Designs, and I'm so excited and honored to be part of the Simon Says STAMPtember celebration. My stamp set is called Shimmering Snowflakes, and it's got 3 big snowflakes and several greetings to help you make elegant holiday cards. I'm going to start today by doing some heat embossing. So I'm going to use an embossing magic pad over a piece of red-hot cardstock. Once I've done that, I'm going to take some terrific tape and I'm going to show you a fun technique on how you can create a matching border to your embossed image. I'm going to take this 1/4-inch piece of terrific tape and I'm going to adhere it to the bottom of my card. Now once I have it in place, I'm just going to flip it around and do it again so that I have one at the top of my card and one at the bottom of my card. This is going to help me create a really pretty gold embossed line that's going to perfectly match my snowflake image in the center of the card. I've trimmed the ends off of that terrific tape and I've put my largest snowflake image inside my MISTI. Now I'm going to ink that up using a little bit of Versamark ink. I want to make sure I get it nice and inky. And once that's stamped, I'm going to use some Gina K Designs Fine Detail Gold Embossing Powder to emboss the snowflake image. So I'm going to sprinkle that all over the front of the card. And once that's done, I'm going to very carefully peel the terrific tape liners off, and then I'm going to add embossing powder onto that sticky line. This is really a fun way to have perfectly coordinated embossing, and it's also a fun way to add a little detail to make your cards even a little more elegant. Now you can do this in two-tone, so maybe you want to have silver lines with a gold snowflake, or you can do this same technique with other stamps you have in your collection to create fun embossed colored lines using colored ink and clear embossing powder. Now I'm going to heat up the gold embossing powder and you can see how beautiful and shiny that gets. And I like using a fine detail embossing powder for this type of image because there are so many details in it and you don't want that embossing powder to swell up too much and lose any of the detail. So the fine detail powder helps eliminate that possibility. And you can see how cool those lines look embossed to match the snowflake. So now it's time to choose a greeting, and I have 3 greetings in this set that all fit inside this snowflake. I have Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and Happy Hanukkah. And I did spell Hanukkah in the more traditional way in this set. I've gotten lots of requests for that in the past, and I figured because this set is so elegant that the more formal spelling of Hanukkah would be appropriate for this type of design. So I've added gold embossing powder to that greeting, and you can see that delicate greeting fits right in there. And I've turned this one into a Merry Christmas card. Now speaking of coordinating your embossing powder, I wanted to add a thin border around the outside, but I wanted it to be gold and I wanted it to match perfectly with my embossing powder. So here's a little trick. I'm just taking a piece of white cardstock here and I'm gently pressing some Versamark around the perimeter of this cardstock. Now this piece of cardstock is only 1/8 of an inch bigger than the panel that I already created. So it will create a very, very skinny little border. But I didn't want to use gold cardstock because I wanted it to match perfectly with all the rest of that gold embossing. So I'm going to sprinkle gold embossing powder around the perimeter here. You can see it's not perfectly even. It doesn't have to be because most of it's going to get covered except for that little 1/8 of an inch edge that's going to stick out. So I'm going to heat that up with my heat tool. Just be a little bit careful. It's hard to use a clothespin for this because you will ruin where some of that embossing powder is. So I am holding it with my hand and I'm just going to be careful when I get close to the other side. So you can see how beautiful that embossing powder looks. and it just looks like a piece of gold cardstock under there, but it's a perfect match, and not only is the color a perfect match, but the texture is a perfect match. So you can see I've adhered those two panels together and everything just coordinates so nicely. Next, I'm adhering that panel onto an A2 style card base, and I decided to use a white card base because I thought that really set that whole panel off nicely. And then I did add a few sequins. I used the Gina K Designs disco ball sequins and I applied them with some Connect glue. So there's my finished card project. Well, I sure hope that you enjoyed this video, and I hope you'll give this card project a try. Head over to Simon Says Stamp now and pick up your Shimmering Snowflake stamp set and the coordinating die set, and you'll be making beautiful, elegant card projects throughout the holidays. Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll see you again real soon.